little bit of deja vu. Start it again. I feel like I was only here a week ago.
Same time, different channel.
Yep.
Times, great
Oh,
hits.
fuck.
So all still's no good?
Yeah.
Well, that was the good side one.
Oh, I have bad news for you.
I'm not going to pull mine out. There's something up with it.
Yeah, I would suggest that. Yes, for everyone playing at home, patrols don't have oil-cooled hubs. Well, they're not supposed to. I'm not saying they don't, they're not supposed to. Oh, it's so clean. Way cleaner than it should be. Pull the brake caliper, locking tab, wheel bearings. Oh, bastard. Oh, threw the drag link in the dirt. Probably shouldn't have. This brake caliper was not very tight either.
Okay. Well, I kind of got lucky with, I mean, I ordered that one. I went to order that one and they're like, oh, we got one in stock that someone ordered in and never picked up. And that was ordered like months ago. So it's on the shelf, come and get it. So I didn't really know what I was getting because the bloke I spoke to didn't know much. Like, I just need a swivel hub rebuild kit for GQ Patrol. And he's like, how many of them do you want? I'm like, well, that's going to depend on what you're selling me, because if it's a kit, I assume I'll need one.
Yeah.
If you're working per side, I'll need two.
Well, maybe you just assume that if you own one GQ, you own more. Oh, this guy has a GQ Patrol. He must have 7 of them.
How many of your GQs are you rebuilding, sir?
Yes. Because I'm going to make the wild assumption that they're all leaking oil.
Super impressive thing, eh? That rattle gun.
Yeah.
It broke my toe ball on my GQ the other day.
Did it?
We couldn't break it. We had my breaker bar with a piece of pipe on the end of it.
Yeah.
And then we had a pair of Stilsons, which I've had for years and years, that we put a piece of pipe on, broke the Stilsons. And this thing got it.
Yeah, right,
Like, if you can't get it with a 1/2 inch breaker bar and a piece of pipe, I didn't expect that. Oh no. Come here. Ew, that's a nice colour.
Doesn't look like it's had that much water in it. You get metal in your finger.
I'm just looking at what that is on, mate. Whether it is fine metal.
Oh, we're about to find out because we're going to take that diff out.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of oil in that. That was alright.
Yeah. Yeah, way more than came out of my diff.
There's still adequate lubrication.
Yes.
Okay, so 14 and an extension.
Right, I'll find them. Especially if we're going to drop it in the oil.
Welcome back, just in time to see me drop it in the oil. What's it catching on?
Just pull on the studs up the top. The top needs to come out. There we go.
Now the bottom's jammed. Top back in a little bit. It's all about that angle, Jeff.
Yeah. It's not causing the brake lines.
Literally just the studs.
Yeah.
I might need a bloody pry bar just to get a little bit on the bottom here.
Almost looks like the top's actually what's going to come out.
Can I get the bottom back in here?
Pull down on it. There we go.
Now we got him.
Yeah, wriggle. The wriggle is key.
The wriggle and jiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yay! Oh, it's so clean. Oh, they look lovely.
Oh, words very rarely spoken on a GU patrol.
I'm actually quite impressed. So clean.
Doesn't look like the backpackers filled it with seawater at all.
No.
And we didn't drop it in the oil.
The teeth look really good.
It
Wow.
should. Like, it hasn't done a huge amount of work because it's just the front diff.
It's also been a backpacker car with 400,000 k's.
This is true.
It's probably done as nearly as much. They don't ever knock it out of four-wheel drive.
I wouldn't be surprised. Hubs? What are the hubs?
Isn't it constant four-wheel drive? It is when I drove it. Okay, now Dan can get it. Right, could have had words with that door then. I didn't know it was open when I sprung up. Okay.
Which makeshift table are we going to today?
I don't know.
Same as the last diff episode.
Shall I bring the vice over here though?
Maybe.
Stay.
It appears this has never been apart either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, the last people to look at this was missing. Well, no one's ever marked the caps,
Yeah.
which is what you do. As soon as you go to pull it apart, you mark the caps. No, the caps are marked. So I reckon this hasn't been apart since it was new. Which is very strange for a Nissan.
Yeah, and it looks in good shape.
Yeah,
Real good shape.
yeah, a Nissan that someone hasn't touched.
Oh,
It is on.
It's recording already.
Yeah, it's already recording.
Oh. So Jeff, what do we got here?
We got the front diff out of Kimmy.
Yep.
Yeah, so we fit the auto locker into it,
Yep.
which means we're going to be pulling these gears out here. That's your actual differential part. That's what makes your wheels turn at different speeds. We're going to replace them with the auto locker.
Yep.
We have to pull these two bearing caps off to get the hemisphere out, and then pull the crown wheel off of here so we can get that pin to slide out, and then replace all those gears with the locker.
So why would someone go on auto locker? How do they work?
Auto locker is probably is actually the wrong name for them. They're an auto unlocker.
Yep.
You're like wandering off with the camera there.
All right, start that again.
Auto locker is the wrong name for them. They're an auto unlocker. So they're actually locked all the time. And when you go to turn around a corner, the wheel that's got to travel further as you turn, that wheel will actually run faster than the locker.
Yep.
And that's when it disengages on light throttle or coast, usually. If you go to put any sort of power in it, it will just lock back up.
Yep.
So we don't have to think about them. They're just they're in all the time. We just lost the instructions.
Oh well. Hope you know what you're doing.
We're winging it now. It all blew away.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just an auto essential lockers. Only called auto because they sort of do it
They do it
by
themselves.
themselves.
Yep. So
Just means that they lock the diff, but then allows when one wheel turns faster than the other without power on it, lets it unlock.
That's it. Yes.
So the advantage of them being cost-wise, this one was about $400.
Yeah. Yeah. Compared to the e-locker in the front of my Jeep was $1,700.
Yep.
The Pro locker in my other one was, I think they're about $1,500. You don't need a compressor. There's no wiring. Yeah. Essentially, there's nothing to fail.
Yep.
And with freewheeling hubs, this will make no difference to the way this car drives on the road.
Yep.
and we're both interested to see how it's going to handle off-road.
Yeah. I have had auto lockers in a 4Runner. So that was, yeah, I've had a bit of a taste for them. The downside to them is that they do make steering a bit harder. But once you know, when you've got them, you just change your driving habit a little bit.
Yep.
And if you really need to turn sharp, you just knock it out of four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Turn and then put it back in four-wheel drive. But realistically, the only time it's ever been noticeable for me, apart from being a little bit heavier in the steering, was when you had to do a hairpin turn where you've got to do a couple of extra bites at it.
Yeah.
But they're a cheap alternative. As I said, I did have front and rear auto lockers in the 4Runner and they were fine. On road I didn't even notice it was there in an auto. If you had a high powered sort of thing, they mightn't be a great option for a rear.
Yeah, they do tell you not to. They recommend it against a rear in a petrol manual.
Yeah.
So if you try and buy one for the rear of a petrol manual 80 series, because you've gone that way because they're cheap,
Yeah.
they try not to sell them to you.
Yeah. I mean, advice would be if you've got the budget there and you can afford an air lock or an e-lock, I'd go that way. If it's just a weekend runabout or something don't have a huge budget for, then these are a good alternative to do the same job.
Yeah.
Come on, is anybody coming out?
Ooh, it's a nice backlash number. Very minor.
Yep.
The actual way they tell you to do it is to not disturb that piece.
Yep.
Leave it on and just undo the two carrier bolts and pull it out.
All out.
And then put it back in.
Yep.
And then it will be set up exactly the same.
Cool.
I'm going to measure it. I'm going to actually measure the backlash and make sure we put it back. Because there's guaranteed one of these will fall out.
So your backlash essentially is just how much play's in it?
Yeah. The movement between the crown wheel and the pinion.
Yep.
Which is...
So if you've got too much, it's a clunk between letting the clutch out and taking up the slack.
Yeah, and if you don't have
and
enough...
if it's not enough, it lines up.
Yeah, it'll destroy itself. So, I'll grab my dial indicator and stick on it.
So quite important.
Yes. More measuring. Okay.
New chat from Darcy. Not yet, man, sorry. Is that going to mean a trip to town?
I think it is.
Probably. We're going to need wheel bearings.
Yeah. We'll get it zeroed out. 0, 0. Uh, 0.018 of a millimetre. I think is how that reads. But that's about where you want it. You want it somewhere between there and about 25. I think it's 15 to 25 is kind of your nice range.
Yep.
That's
So,
enough of
so that tells us it's happy to start with, and that's where we'll put it back.
Yep, put it back the same way and it will be the same. It won't know we've done anything different.
Rightio, so that was checking the backlash. Now we start stripping.
That's it. You got a
17 mils.
yeah, I want a centre punch first.
Centre punch.
Don't you have a centre punch? But you're, I was going to say, but you're a builder.
I've got nail punches, Jeff. Which probably do the same job, admittedly. How big? Do you want bigger? Or?
No, I actually need to like punch a little groove.
What do you got to punch?
I just got to make a mark on these two,
Oh.
so I know which one's which. So I do need a centre punch. Does the builder have a centre punch?
Builders don't use centre punches. You can bash that. You'll make a mark with that.
Yeah, right. We're going to have to. I'll take the claw hammer.
Builders don't work with metal.
Oh, what do you do if it's a steel frame house?
It's like a Meccano set. You bolt it together.
That's terrible. That fucking worked. That's going to do us. We know that cap goes for that one, so that's alright. That's all we need.
Thanks for that. So front oil bearings and some more oils, all we need.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got...
We've got seals, we've got...
Yeah, you got CV grease.
Oh, we checked out the space.
Got some molybdenum disulfates. The claw hammer. Two bearing caps. Yeah, the rest of that plan actually worked really well. That got it.
Joey?
The pin is out for everyone playing at home. It's got to go through from this side. If you try and bash it back the other way, it doesn't go.
Now we've got it buttoned down in the Bluetooth vise.
Yeah.
And we did loosen them with a breaker bar too, they weren't that easy.
Yeah, they were definitely not that easy.
Don't go expecting it to come apart that easy.
Right.
Oh, stuff like that.
Just like that.
So it's so easy.
Yeah. Oh, we knock the pin out of here so we can get this cross pin out. And then rotate those two.
Oh, look at that.
Your sun gear's out.
Oh, they come apart really easily.
Yeah. And that's what's inside your diff. That one slides out. Got me gravity. So you need these two shims. It should be sort of stuck down with oil. So these two shims, just to get our gaps, spacings right on the locker.
Yep.
So it all operates like it should. So now we'll grab the locker. Just a few measurements. Couple of measurements we need first. Let's just be optimistic. Put these on. Righto, we're going to measure the gap between here.
Yep.
The gap from the cross shaft. Yeah, between that one with these two end caps in, but we'll measure this gap first. Hope see if it's right. And we'll go from there. Find where all the paperwork went and find out what the measurement's supposed to be. Right, so we've put these two pieces of the locker in and measured the gap between the cross shaft and those two caps. That's within spec, now that we've got the correct shims.
Yeah, so the original shims,
We're a bit
there was
small.
too much.
Yeah, too much gap.
Too much gap, so we had to go and buy some shims.
So we went to our local gearbox and diff place and they had some shims for us. Now we can slide the other two parts in, which we've already checked, and they're within spec as well. Do this without it all falling in a heap.
So this would be the most crucial part of the locker install, if you're getting the clearances right.
Yeah, yeah. Other than that, they're relatively straightforward. Till you start dropping things.
We'll pick that up.
And the other important thing, we'll turn that shaft around. What have I done? I put part of it in upside down. The joy of editing, I'll just make all this look like one big seamless thing.
Running in reverse.
Yeah, I can fix all this later.
Righto, Tyler.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Because you edit them out and no one will ever know. No one will ever know. Right. Just that way around. The whole thing slips in like that. Now, I'll slip the little springs and bits in here while I can still turn it, and then I'll slide the cross shaft in. I'll come back when it's together.
Through the magic of editing,
Yes.
you've already got the first 3 in.
We'll just put this one last little spring in, just like that.
Oh, ta-da!
Carefully lift that centre plate up. Rotate that one. And there it is. Oh fuck, you lost the pin. That nearly ended in disaster.
You put your little pin back in.
It looks like a nail, so we'll use the claw hammer. There we go. Right, now just put the diff back together.
Flip it over and put this back on.
And it's that easy. Oh, and if you at home want one of these, all you do is use our discount code. What's 4Drive Action's discount code?
4-wheel drive boot. The only 4-wheel drive channel I know on YouTube is Mighty Car Mods.
Oh, they are the best 4Drive channel on YouTube.
Multiply. Your torque gauge.
I have a torque wrench. We will torque them. It'll go back in the vise. We'll torque them up. Were they nice enough to give us a torque spec, or do we need to Google it?
Okay. Drain oil from the front differential and remove the front wheels. I think we'll pass that joint.
Yeah, we've done that step. Except we removed the front wheels and then drained the oil.
Shit, we did it wrong.
Fuck, you did it wrong. Better put it all back.
Obviously,
Start again.
Obviously, we did do it wrong.
We got step 1.
Because fuck, some oil came out of those hub seals.
Yeah, they weren't doing much.
Diffs all back together. Stick him back in the car. The fun part.
We'll see you over there.
Oh, can you start again, Dan? I missed it.
I haven't started yet. It's just building up the courage to lift this bloody thing. You know, because these patrols got them big ass diffs. Way heavier than...
RGB lights can let you go anyway.
Hmm?
No, this doesn't have that.
Use your legs! Use your legs, Lieutenant Dan! Ooh, not like that. Okay. Now we spin.
I just put it in upside down.
You almost did.
I didn't. It was a little bit sideways, but... Okay. A little bit more. A little bit more. There we go.
You're clearing the brake line.
Clear?
Yeah.
Hey.
Just give it a wriggle.
Stop it.
You almost had it.
I know. Tight at the top.
Not quite.
I'm tight at the bottom.
Not yet at the top.
There we go. Is that it?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to press record, Dan. Do you want to start that? Do that again?
Sure.
loose on the ground. Oh. Pull the winch.